Welcome to your daily dose of theological German, where a sentence a day keeps the dissertation detractors away, or else perhaps just consternates you completely. Today's sentence actually isn't going to be too bad. This is the book, The Culttheologie of the Letter to the Hebrews. I keep playing with the way that I kind of do these videos, trying to find the most efficient method. So what I'm going to do today is try to give more commentary while I'm translating, but just not so much that it makes the translation get lost. And then I'll drill down on things with more detail where necessary, but hopefully that'll let us get through more text more quickly. Okay, so the simplest way I think to work through a sentence like this is to just try to identify the basic structure: subject, verb, predicate. You need to find that, and then you can start adding things to it. And often the easiest way to deal with that is to find the verb first. You're going to notice here that the verb is sind, which is the plural form of the sein verb. And so you have a plural subject, and so your subject is eschatological cleansing and new heart. Okay, so a double subject, and that's why you have a plural verb. Eschatological cleansing and new heart are, and here's your predicate down here at the end, this participle which complements that sein verb, are connected. Okay, so now we can just add the rest of this in to the translation. So first of all, you have this prepositional phrase here, through sprinkling. One thing to note is that prepositions, typically speaking, in both English and German, have to introduce phrases that somehow modify verbs. They generally tend to complement verbs. However, in the case where you have a noun, such as cleansing, where there is kind of a verbal idea baked into the noun, then you can have prepositions kind of elaborating on those kinds of nouns. And so eschatological, wow, I'm having a hard time with the English today. How's my German going to be? Eschatological cleansing through sprinkling. Okay, so that's what's being discussed right now in the book of Hebrews. So eschatological cleansing through sprinkling and new hearts are connected already in Ezekiel 36 through echoes, or you might say reminiscences, on Jeremiah 31, with the expectation of a new or the new covenant. So I really just want to dig into one thing in greater detail. I mean, there's always lots of confusing things we could talk about, but I just want to look at this word here. How did I get the translation there? Echoes, I said, but then I also clarified reminiscences. Well, how did we do that? If you try to look this up in your dictionary, I've checked both Cassell's and Collins, and this word is not in either of them as a noun or even as any kind of reference at all. And so how are you going to figure out what it is? Because if you're looking this up in the context of an exam especially, you need some strategy to quickly find it if you don't know what the word is. So what I would suggest is, first of all, to note that there are two parts to this word. Always pay attention to these kinds of morphologies. You have a kind of thing that might be a preposition or a separable type of component. If this noun is being formed from a verb, which could easily be the case, because verbs often get converted into nouns in various ways, usually by making a substantive participle, which is actually what's happened here. If that's the case, then you might have a separable verb, and so you might make some progress looking up just the second part of this, which would be klänge. Okay, so when you look up in Cassell's, you'll find that there is actually a noun, klang, meaning a sound or a tone, fittingly enough. It's obviously a cognate. But you'll see above that sort of an adjective, or maybe that's a participle. It doesn't say in Cassell's exactly what it is, but it is actually a participle. And it's from the verb klingen, so it says sie klingen. And then down further here, you even see the plural form, which is what you've got there with the umlaut over the A and the E on the end. And it also says sie klingen. And so what you want to do is work from that. Now, of course, you don't want to look up klingen, because that's not going to be the verb in question if this is a noun made from a verb. You want to look up anklingen, if I can possibly write. Okay, so that's what you want to look up. So when you look up anklingen, you will find that it means something like to be reminiscent of, or to be discernible, etc. And so what's happened here is this author has formed a noun. It might even be a noun. Other people are using a common noun, but it's just not in the dictionary. But this noun has been formed from this verb, and so you can think semantically, okay, this is a noun. It's plural here. It means something. It's referring to something that is reminiscent of something. And so that's where I got the term echo, because knowing the English discourse around this kind of topic of interbiblical kind of, allusions and things like that, echo is a term that's very often used to express exactly the same kind of phenomenon. And so that's where I got that term. But that's the strategy you would have to use to try to get at semantically what's being communicated. And then you have to just know the context of discourse to come up with a good English translation. But the point is, at its heart, this is really referring to something that is reminiscent of something else. And in this case, it's reminiscent of Jeremiah 31. And so Ezekiel 36 is saying things that make you go, huh, I think I saw that in Jeremiah 31 or something like it. And so that's where I came up with echo. So I hope you find that helpful. As always, thanks for watching, and do subscribe and like and share and whatever else you want to do with this video.